Yay. Okay. Welcome, welcome. I'm live. As you see, made a little different setup with some of gifts and paintings and plants and all the things behind me, as well as some nice light. Yay. I'm Josie. Welcome. If you're new. And let's get going. I'm first as we come on to kind of check in and see what we need for centering today as a group. And so I'm going to check in with Denise Linn's Sacred Traveler Oracle cards. So as you arrive, as you maybe have a tea today, or a coffee, or wine, whatever you need, I have gratitude to water, as well as our breath, and supporting us receiving what may be. Okay. If you're just coming in, the first cards shared are more so to share how this experience may be, how this experience may be to receive these messages, to allow breath to occur even along the waves, be it the waves of what comes up in the mind quickly or what may surface in the body, and to see how you can be with the flow of your breath to ride the waves of these messages. In the flow, to see how we can be in the flow. And once we can access that together, we can then step into the spark, step into the flame, step into the circle to receive certain messages, to share how we can bring more passion and pleasure into the existence. They're literally sharing just like into the web or the weaving of the existence. So it's passion and pleasure. And then potentially after receiving, after listening, in participating with breath in the flow, you're welcome to share messages that come, or even, you know what I mean? Many of you might be intuitive, so certain things might come to share, to drop into the seeds, or certain questions, a certain kind of directionings for us. But remember that this is a group, right? So we'll be experiencing it together as a group. So there will be a time as well to sit with solitude, to sit with some of the messages received, and to breathe or to care for self after. So to know that when you step into divination, right, to be gentle in the flow and the breath, to care for body in the receiving and the listening. You're welcome to move as you need to, or even to lie down and rest, whatever needs. And if the need changes throughout the process, honor that as well. And someone is requesting, welcome, Prophet. Is there any chance I can ask questions about something? Sure, share your questions, please. And we'll see how to support some answers, or some things to chew on. They're sharing like things to chew on potentially. So yes, please use the chat as you need. Know that the chat, I will be responding live, but I don't save the chat. So the chat is not available on the replay. So you're welcome to share what you need to support the live. Most definitely. Okay. Let's take a moment. I shared already to have some water. And to find a safer space to receive, a space where you can feel and experience what may arise within your body, within your mind, within your mouth. They're like, well, what will wish to be expressed and shared in discussion? Good, good. Breathe with me. Yes, yes. And I will look at the question after we breathe together. And as we breathe, to follow or to just allow yourself to uncover the wave of that breath without any intentionality of where that breath goes. Just more so the process of it exploring itself within you, around you, linking and communicating things from body to mind. So honor as breath feels as if it waves up into the head. See how it moves. It may feel like a flow at times. It may feel like a fall. And as you become more comfortable with the feeling of that wave of breath, of air, energy, you'll see that even in the lessening of your intentionality of breathing, of how that might feel like there is more breath. And from these wondrous movements with breath, to see where you land, where that breath takes you, what ground to settle upon, what rocks may come to support you, stone, earth, what living plants come to support you. And to see now how you are breathing with many. Your sway is with their sway, moving with the rhythm of the breaths, the air, and the light of the sun. Allow yourself in this process to feel as if you're opening the petals, the leaves, to the sun, to receive, the sunlight, to give gratitude for that. the waters and the sun, the air that helps us grow, the earth and the soil of where we're currently planted. Give gratitude for that. The capacity to receive whenever this message may be received. Deep gratitude. What a privilege to be in connection today. Okay, there's some questions about focusing. It's neat, or how our mind might think of something, bringing something up, right? Are the maintenance men involved in this that's occurring? I'm focusing on positivity. It's good affirmation. But I want to ensure I'm not paranoid. Because sometimes, yes, the mind can play tricks. Oh, I'm glad you're feeling good. Right now. Because with that around, it can make that it would make the pockets of feeling good really sacred, really special. And then the other question that's coming, aside from the first one, is that if there are people fall interesting. So even that fear and uncertainty around potential people in your life, in the physical life, right? That there's also like, it almost, you see that there's a ripple out into then even that fear in online relations. Going, right, like maybe also people are connecting or following with me for not good reasons, not malintentions online. And this is, thank you for bringing these questions in. For the new moon tarot connection that we had a couple weeks ago, was sharing about how there's going to be a lot of fears that are going to come up within this moon cycle. That we, it's not that we have to face them, right? It's just that they're going to be present. So we either face them or we let them kind of weave themselves into many places. So thank you for bringing these questions in. Let's see. I'm working with the This Might Hurt tarot deck by Isabella Rotman today. Okay, that was the one that was sharing for this pre-full moon, checking in to see what we're ready to release, right? Couple days, giving us some preparations to support the natural flow and release of what we will. It's like literally they're sharing like what we can speak out loud in these days coming. And even if we get this or connect to this even after a full moon, it's like, know that the intentionality of speaking things out loud will support the things around you that can assist in the rectification of what might not be felt as right within the mind or the body or in the surroundings. So let's see, dear spirit. Ooh, okay. What would you like to add for these queries, as well as what is coming up for us as a group, for those who are stepping in today or another day to receive some message? Okay. Okay. All right. This is neat because in new moon, there was a lot that was coming up also around the teachings or the journey of the pentacles, which could be thought of as coin as well as earth or physical. It could be thought of as a line of prosperity or a line of abundance or a connection to wealth, of knowledge, wealth of wisdom, wealth of experience, physical experience. And so they first share a seven of pentacles. And a seven's an interesting one because it's in a time when, okay, we know what we've sown. We know some of the things that we've planted now in the garden. We know, like, okay, the lettuce is over there, and the marijuana plant's over there, and the my favorite flowers over here, right? And now you just think, you're like, okay, I'm gonna just like wait and let things grow. And so you can kind of like, there's almost like a sharing that we're in like an experience of like kind of feeling like we're waiting. You're in this kind of like, okay, I've sown some things, I've done some work, I've done, you know what I mean, all the things in any type of effort, be it like the actual working of a garden, the actual working of efforts in your life, or even the self work that we do, right? The deep self work. And so and there's a time when you need to take a breath and be like, okay, like, and rest yourself with the hoe, like literally rest yourself on the thing that you've been efforting with, the tool and the skill that you carry, and then take a moment and just go, right, okay, what are the things that I have grown, what are the things that I have sown, and to know that there's multiple growing rates. There's multiple growing rates in a garden. It's not like all of a sudden, like those games. I'm playing one of these, like, games when like something grows like in a split second, right? And then you get to harvest it. But naturally, there are multiple growth cycles, even in one garden. And so we realize then every single day, there's going to be wonder to look out there, right? Every single day, there's going to be wonder to see what has grown. Also, maybe what is withered, what is like is starting to compost itself to nourish the soil so that the other things can grow. There's a gentle tending time right now, caring for the things that we are starting to see are withering within maybe the mental perceptions of things, of how we see the world and interact with it and choose to interact with it, because there's a Two of Pentacles that came up too, but upside down. And upside down, we know it's not that it's a bad thing. This is very kind of a universal journey that we go on with Pentacles. So there's much teachings upright. And when it's upside down, it just means it's more relevant about the personal, of the self-exploration. And everybody loves that there's more choices, maybe more options than one thing when we want more, right? Like, oh, excellent. I have like, they're sharing, it's like, the kid at the candy store, or, when you get to choose your flavor of ice cream. Choices then are really, really good, because then we're like, oh my gosh, am I going to choose bubble gum? Am I going to go for vanilla? Maybe I'll have chocolate. Maybe I'll have like tiger wheel or something, with a whole bunch of different flavors combined. And so then choices become exciting. But the challenge right now they're sharing is like, almost like with having multiple things to look at, multiple choices to make this month, this cycle. It's almost like we've been taught to value decision making. Like this is more important because this has to do with this. This is more important because this has to do with this. And so then some of the decisions or the choices get put to the wayside for another day, for a rainy day, or maybe they'll show up when I least expect it. I have to make that decision now. I didn't have time to think about it. And so they're sharing with growing many things, with growing and sowing and doing lots of effort and gardening, right? And planting all these different beautiful things to watch grow. Good friends, better relations with people around you. Ability to speak around the people that, there's good things being grown in this garden. Good ways of communicating. But with lots of things to grow, there will be more things to choose. More things that then require that decision-making process on a regular basis to say, yes, no, I proceed. No, I don't proceed. And so with the fears that are arriving, isn't this a wild card, 5 of Wands, of how they show these like massive conflict in the dog park? Fears. Right? It's like I don't take my dog to the dog park out of this fear. The fear that maybe there's going to be a whole bunch of different dogs that I don't know. And my dog then won't know them. And maybe he'll react to them in some way. And then I'm going to have to diffuse a difficult situation. I'm going to have to be prepared then within myself for that potentiality. Prepare myself always for the fight. Prepare myself always for the potentiality of discord. Which comes, this is in the present, okay? Which comes from our conflicts with money, with pentacles, with exactly what we're talking about, with what is grown or what is not being grown. The 5 card of Pentacles reversed. So in this, as we see, destitute, feeling of destitute right in front of something that's supposed to be a place of solace, right in front of this warm place and home. But outside in the cold, not feeling contented or supported. Even with the passersby, will they stop? Will they help? Or will they take from me? Will they take even the shoes that I have or the things that, the little bit that I have? There has been much work that we have been doing on healing from deep traumas and pains that have occurred around us, with friends, with family, with trusted ones, with loved ones, with partners, with lovers, with all the things that have left us out in the cold. Very little trust. But we keep efforting, we keep growing. We keep growing things each year, each season. We keep planting in the hopes that, right? In the hopes that grows different than before. But the fear of what happened before continues. I guess that's why facing fears are so hard, because we don't know if they're real. We don't know if they're true. Or maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe I'm just thinking that will occur because it's happened before. Or maybe I've built enough protection around me that I feel safe in certain things. And then, but it feels like there are certain aspects still of my daily existence that give me leaks in that protection, that they still feel a little bit chaotic. Like they don't feel that same type of good, safer, and like online chaos, or potentially with people that are involved in or around us, right? That might not be always welcomed in, like for tea. And so in the future placement justice, we've been talking a lot about justice this year. It seems to be a prevailing theme. Reversed. So it's neat, and in a recent tarot chat with someone, this also came up. So it must be a relevant occurrence within some of these cycles right now. And I always give gratitude for bringing in and having the courage to share the question that's coming up, because we don't realize how, with courage, what ripple we've opened, like what seed we've opened. And so just know that there is such a wonder and such a wisdom in what you brought in today. I thank you. Justice upright, we know there is going to be potentially, like, this is like when people are like, big forces are going to come in and save the day. Be it fill in the blank, right? There are so many that we think are big ones that will support justice, will support rectification, correction of things. Why we say rectify instead of correction, because it's not necessarily that there's one correct answer all the time, as you know, for many people. Rectification would be supporting the clearing or the cut for the thing that needs to be rectified within our internal makeup in order to support our movements forwards. And so it brings us the reminder of the scales, just like the juggler, right? Of this balancing act of going, right, I carry some of this, I carry some of the pain. I'm carrying some of the pain. Remember the garden. The garden's going to have bloom as well as things that are decaying in the same garden. It's the beauty of garden. My goodness, all the time there's going to be something that might be dying, might need to be cut back, and something that is going to be regrowing into a new bloom, and some that haven't bloomed yet and will bloom later. So upside down, it is not sharing to place the hope in a system that will, make justification right. Because as we know, some of those systems placed to support us aren't really supportive when needed. So there's a prompt in it being reversed for us to, and I know that people are going to be like, take justice in our own hands. Woohoo! But somewhat maybe, but not necessarily in the way we think, right? It's not necessarily all then becoming vigilantes and going out and causing chaos and more chaos, right? Because as you see, those leaks in what we feel is our protection as we're facing certain fears in mind and carried in body, kind of from things that we're clearing and moving through and shifting gently. They're almost sharing. It's nice to have positive affirmations, right, to support. But if they ever feel disingenuous, if they ever feel like they're not supporting, and it just seems like you're trying to give a soother to a feeling body that is not needing just like sweet. There's honey, there's a little bit of pepper, there's a little bit of, different flavors that you can give yourself. And sometimes the flavor is going, not, this is not right, I cut these people, chop, because they don't feel good. I'm going to stop going online, chop, because there's the possibility of bots, most definitely. Because that's not a sweet way to live. They're like, yes, look for the leaks. We can look for the leaks. We can look for the leaks. And the leaks might be in like people. They might be people that are not allowing full you, whole you. But when feeling potentially that there are multiple perpetrators close to house, closer to maybe close to body, as well as close to mind, which is like online, and energy body. There needs to be some good clearing around this time. And so I'm going to ask them some questions around how to support the clearing and protection asked for, so that then those little leaks, they're kind of sharing like, okay, these leaks of like where you can sense, like, right, where you get a little blip in the feelings that you're safe and loved and everything is all well, okay, that come in. Those leaks could literally be felt like a normal routine maintenance. Like you walk around the house and check, you know what I mean, all your water faucets and all the shower heads, right? And just check and turn them on and make sure everything is flowing well. And then you turn them off and you know what I mean? And you know that they're not dripping, everything's good, right? And like you go through the whole house doing that. And so they're sharing like checking the leaks like that can be a very simple cleansing practice that you kind of like do that, but think that the house is your body. So you first start with the body and you go, okay, let me get into my, like the safest place I have, even if that's a locked door in my bathroom. That's the safest place. And there to go, okay, so in this safe place, I'm going to first wash. I'm first going to clean my body, any of the caca from before coming off. And then from there, before I leave this space, I'm going to breathe in my body and be like, where am I feeling not safe in the body? Where are the leaks? Where is it not flowing? Where is the flowing stopping? Or it feels like it's leaking? And some then naturally will you'll realize it's just regular house maintenance. And so some of the fears are almost like, you know what I mean? The things will just be cleared in that process. And then when you leave that safe room, right? And you go into like the rest of your house, clothing, you put clothing on, right? Your nice smelling perfumes or lotions or the things that you enjoy, right? That you feel adorn you, to honor the whole of what that, now that you've accessed your whole energy. And you allow yourself to then do the same thing like you did with your body, but you sit in your home. And you first sense the room you're in, and even then the house and where it's placed. And you just feel certain leaks. And maybe you could do that just seated. Some of you are very energetic, so you might be able to then, right? You'll just feel the leaks and you'll be able to breathe and process them through your body. Because our body and home are connected. But some of you will need smoke. You'll see my breath even changes when they bring in, smoke or flame. That you'll see what herb or what sacred herb or plant asks to be burned. And just then to not worry about like getting it out, just to light it and then to let it smoke in each room as you walk. And you can kind of start to let that care for some of the cobwebs and the gentle leaks, like the leaks that might not be sensed in that first process. Beautiful. And once you do that initial kind of body house maintenance process, if for whomever is receiving this video and gets the enticement or the excitement to do this, once you do that, you enter or you exit the house in the way that you allow people in. And in that doorway, there is work to be done. So meaning where there are workers or people who come in and come out to houses, to know that sometimes even the paranoia or the uncertainty that is felt from people that come in and come out, that they're almost sharing like a cross-referencing of multiplicity. Think of all the things that you're moving through and that you're healing with and growing with, and vice versa. Exactly every human that comes in is doing that too. And so some of the paranoias may not even actually be yours. Like they can come in with fear or anger or uncertainty, right? And then we pick up on it and it kind of entices, it feeds ours. It feeds our fears. Oh, it's such a beautiful teaching. So they share to do some, and this depends on ancestry, because for like crossing or uncrossing work around those entrances to the home. Not bindings, not things that tie or are harmful. It's more so to share clear roads, that people that come into the house know that they can clearly move without their stuff being caught in the air. And that when they move out, like, you know what I mean? When they step out of the place, that it kind of moves with them. Like, it's like they're just kind of sharing clear sailing, clear roads. So I'm curious. I'm going to do this too. For this moon. I think it will be quite brilliant. It's like looking at the different entrances in your house, and after you do your cleansings and protection work in body and in house, to then walk out of the house and back into the house, walk out of the house and back into the house through all the ways that you can access the home, and either work with your smoke or work with your sacred objects, the sounds they're sharing. Some of you might feel like there's certain songs to sing as you cross. Do you see what I mean? The crossover, it's just like walking out, walking back in. But you might walk out, like for me, I'm seeing, like where I would walk out of maybe one door and then walk around the property and then walk in another way and then walk through that like a hall and then walk out again. You know what I mean? So it's like trying to so allowing yourself to do this cleansing in the movements that would be flowing between the doorways, between the entrances. And some of you will be even nudged then after that clearing to put something that makes music, like makes a jangle, be it like a bell or chimes or something towards a specific door, towards a specific door entrance that might be used with a frequency that needs extra sound to like almost to announce the person's arrival at that location. Because it might naturally, if you all of a sudden, if someone steps in at that entrance, that you'll be like, oh, who is that? Depending on where you are in the house. And so that sound jingle will help with the clearing too. And no, it's not a doorbell. It's actually something that when the door opens, like, you know, when you go to a store, it would make a sound so that you can hear when someone enters. And so as you see, these types of cleansing protection practices will support feeling safer, more capable in standing ground, so to speak, being able to feel capable in the home, in the body, so that when decisions have to be made of like, is this person to be trusted, or can I proceed with this, or can I go online for this? You know, it won't be as, whoo, I'm feeling that. Let me just take a sip. In order to get to that justice, we need to be able to have an equilibrium with our mind and our body, with those thoughts or fears that are sensed in the body in different ways, feeling hot and cold or tingles or constricted, as well as what can be experienced within the mind, where our mind goes from previous patterns of experience, or even things we've seen on TV. So the practice, on top of holding the scales, right, of knowing that I can make a choice about something anytime, every time, every moment. I have the capacity to make the choice. But I also have to walk with a sword. I have to walk with something to know when, even in my decision-making process, something needs to end. Something needs to stop because it's harming me from my inside out. Okay, so in regards to those specific men, no. But if I just said that at the beginning, right, that might have been an issue. There might have been a disbelief. And so the sweet thing of knowing justice is that we might sometimes need to ride with the emotions or the experiences and the memories that are carried in our body. The fear trigger, the thing that is bringing up the ruffling, the insecurity felt within. And to know that we carry these things. We carry these things as well as our well, what you've been working on in your capacity, your consciousness, all the things that you wish to share of your well-being, the ability for you to self-regulate, the ability for you to carry forwards, carry on. And so we are being asked to do some of that work now. Seeing what things need to be rectified in us. Oh, and I feel a bit of a with that, because that's accountability, which has gotten a bad rap, to share that we're responsible for something, when especially many of the things experienced in the past, or even yesterday, and maybe even earlier today, some of those things experienced we might not have been responsible for. They might have just felt like happenstance. So if you wish to grow many things, to learn how to work with the multiple energies, there is a wondrous wealth of information online, but many will have fears around it because of all the bots. So you have extra protection, even online. If you wish for further video on protection techniques and skills and ways and methods, or whatever you wish to call them, you're welcome to request it on this video. And if I get enough requests, a video, I will do a live for that. Or meaning I'll record with counsel from the questions shared. Okay. I've been holding these cards in my hands. Moonology Oracle cards by Yasmin Boland. See what, in addition to this good path of informations to support us in the next weeks, as well as even in the next days, right? Leading up to this full moon. Trust it will be on replay if you just joined in. But the last messages. There's first full moon in Capricorn, with the message of the end of a tough cycle approaches. Your hard work is paying off. New moon in Capricorn. Interesting. Full and new moon in Capricorn. Do you see? Capricorn, very physical, earth-based. There was many messages in the physical, earth-based, what we would share as efforting. Right? So instead of like work's got a bad rap, just think of whatever is sharing effort, be it from your services to others, your services to yourself, the effort of brushing your teeth or taking out the garbage, cooking yourself a meal, or the effort, right? Like of the effort of caring for the others in your household, be it watering the plants, feeding the animals, feeding the kids. So many efforts we do. Okay. What I'm getting first with the end of a tough cycle is that they're like, everybody wants a date. Everybody wants a specific date for when that tough cycle that is being experienced collectively on this planet, or a tough cycle internally within our bodies or within our homes, in our minds, all the things, all the different tough things, cycles, movements. And so that I hear within this card, right? Like the when, Give me a date so I know when it ends. But remember back to the first card of the teachings of the garden. There's going to be multiple blooms, multiple times of growth. And while new things are growing, or second blooms are coming after deadheading, there's also going to be things, right? There's going to be things that decay. And so to feel first that this is an affirmation of acknowledging your allowance of the decay, your allowance of some of the closings and the endings of things that have relayed themselves and interwoven themselves potentially into actions, choices in life, and all the things. So there's a commendment and an honoring of the deep efforts that we have been doing, and trying to also balance those efforts and decisions between what is for our needs, as well as for the needs of community, the needs of humanity, the needs of the land, the needs of the water. There's many things that are needing things right now. And so there's almost an acknowledgement too of many of us efforting at trying to go, how can we do both? How can we make sure our needs met, that we have food and water on the table, a home, these things, while also being able then to share support for many outside of that home. And so they're sharing, yes, there's been many effortings or ways that we have been working, that we're realizing that now it's very imperative almost, or important, to have some fluidity to our efforts and into our rhythms, to honor these multiple cycles of not like just one off and one on, like meaning going like, yay, tough cycle about this is done. Now you have a cycle of rest. It's like there's multiple cycles of doneness and rest, as well as not doneness, like, so to speak, and doing and efforts required still. So there's going to be paying attention to the way that you then support those rhythms, that we support these rhythms of keeping the efforts alive, but also giving ourselves time to rest, space for rest, to honor some of the things, the decomposition timings, or pacings, to allow that thing to truly compost. Instead of sometimes when we just see dead, we just want to pluck it off, pull it out, and throw it out of the garden, instead of having it re-nourish the things that we're intending to grow, hoping to grow, will grow. And the hope, new moon in Aquarius, bring love into the situation. That's going to be deep tending and care on multiple levels as the fears surface in the home, in the body, in the mind, in all the places, all the compartments. So to know that loving care for self in these processes is going to be paramount. They're like sharing, like, I mentioned recently on Patreon in a writing about like that teaching of, take your oxygen mask first so that you can help. You can be breathing to help someone else. And this is almost like multiple oxygen masks. They're like, but these oxygens are like water, sips of calm and care. So it's like take multiple sips of water, even when you feel that, and care for self. Like even when you feel that you're like, okay, I'm good. water has been a continuous reminder because we are alchemizing many things. That's like literally burning, clearing, transmuting, all those like intense energetic work is being done so swiftly now, so swiftly. It's being so supported. So our efforts, even just like think of like that first breathing practice of how we might have first breathed really effortfully, and then you discovered the less effort you breathed, then the fuller the breath was in the experience, and you could still be breathing, but like with just less like intense effort. And so that's kind of what they're sharing, is to ensure that as we navigate these fears that will come up in home body as well as potentially abroad community, to really pace those efforts with lots of sips of care, lots of sips of care. Really maximizing and ensuring that you are loving your body you are in, loving your being, loving it, loving and tending to it. Okay. That was about an hour. It feels like I've been here for 15. I'm just seeing. So I'm getting, is there any other questions first to bring in and drop in any questions? And if not, I will share any that come up. A question that I'm having is, okay. It's kind of like I'm still almost getting the curiosity around, like, when will the tough cycle approach, like dates of things. And so they wanted to share, like, to bring that around, is that because, so there's multiple growth and ending points, right? Multiple times to tend and care. And then so dates just will give you further pressure to feel like you have achieved what you have placed for yourself for that time. And so allow yourself multiple dates and times of connection, of cleansing and care, multiple dates of celebrating the feeling within that, I feel a shift. There's a clearing here. There's a, you know what I mean? That tough cycle or pattern. I see it. I've cut it. I'm broken free from it, right? Like, I've liberated myself from that. Give yourself those pockets to really celebrate those shifts, because we always think that there's a bigger shift or a bigger thing to celebrate. And that's going to support weaving in the pockets of celebration, of joy into this process that feels so arduous at times. Okay. And so the question then with the dates, there's something coming up around, let's see, around the fears around conflict with people, conflict with the world, conflict in politics. There's just like conflict. No wonder there's so many conflicting cards. Okay. So I go to the Cosmic Laws Oracle by Wasima Tuaria. And okay, acceptance. Like, do you accept our support? Do you accept that we are here to support you? Or do you wish to continue to move around blue? Flowing with uncertainty, that you carry the capacity Let us in. Let us in. There's an invitation. Work with us. Work with us. Be it who you believe in with divine, ancestor, those most ancient and beloved. And in that acceptance, that can support these bigger endings of the big tough ones, the big tough cycles. Can support the tending and care that your body will need to reassimilate. Surprise. Many times we have gotten this card, there has been much things that have been surprising and painful to witness in the world. Mass killings of children, eradications and killings of the lands or the trees, people, all the things. Lots of breaths around honoring that there may still be some surprises left in store. So meaning, yes, we may feel like we need to be prepared at times for what we see or what we allow in, what we listen to. But the surprises don't always have to be bad. If you forgot the feeling of a good surprise, of an unexpected gift, unexpected support, unexpected care, the surprises that come with love, that arise with love. But you see, there's some difficulties, much shadow and confusion around love. When they say bring love into this situation, well, is it the love that I have for this person that now I care about, but I'm not going to talk about this, or you know what I mean? With like we're discovering, we're navigating so many different things around love and family, friends, different relations. And sometimes that wolf, or like the if you've ever heard of like the two wolves inside battling, right? Or conflicting inside, and who are you going to choose? Who's going to support you? It's like there's sometimes it feels like the manipulative wolf or the one that's still in the shadows might be kind of like leading the way and can make us doubt our intentions, or are we coming from a place of true love, or things like that. Am I doing enough? Am I good enough? All the worries and the self-doubts. There's some good seeds in the video to review and to listen to and see how they are strung together. And there's much pains and that are still some in the process of healing. The ones that don't necessarily feel like the end of a tough cycle. meaning something that has to fully end, things that might be more repurposed, relationships that might shift, transmute and morph as the some of the over time as the shadows get addressed. Are loved. The shadows are loved. The blood lost is loved. It's a really difficult process to love, let alone just love like the things that we shared that are so sweet and light, a body, heart, mind, being, earth. But then we add in all the other things, yeah? And then it brings up love is immense. It brings up a lot of intensity. It brings up also dark and also the shadows, the things that are unclear, right? Confusing, hard to see, not clear. But there's some very beautiful big helpers in these cards that are coming and sharing like that there's great support. There's great support for you in these processes. So if you're willing to accept and allow their support, allow them into the experience. You do not have to make sense of it all alone. When things are confusing, lean into the support. And if it's hard for you to receive support from spirit or beloved ones, you're welcome to reach out. You're welcome to. It's a little easier for me. That's okay. We all carry the capacity to receive and connect with Ancestor. Sometimes the shadows just are immense, and so it just breaks down a little bit of the communication points. And especially we spoke of those leaks and feeling the need for protection and feeling safer in body and in home and even online. So clearly, with some of the need or feeling for safety and protection, it's harder than for us to allow in, right? Allow in all the goods, all the helpful support for our well-being. So in closing, I will share also for the rest of July, there will be a tarot sale. All my tarot workings online, joech.com, will be half off if you wish for support. It is a confusing time. Does not mean that they are purchased and have to be done within these next days, but they're all purchased and must be completed within 3 months so that we can book within 3 months, because there's an importance in this time, in this cycle now that we're in, to support some of the clearing of some of the confusions so we can feel further and further support to nourish us within the winter months ahead. So if that supports you and makes this maybe something more feasible to do on a private, all you need to do to connect, I do not connect out for those. So all you need to do is you email me with when you wish to book, what service, and then I will share what is good for booking, and then you'll get something to make payment, and guaranteeing it will be half off. I'm saying it on a recording. If you, of course, receive this outside of July 19, 2024 to July 31st, 2024, then you're welcome to receive this. If not, then trust that to check in on the timing that this is received. And if you still feel the desire to reach out to Josie, reach out to Josie and see. Share what you can offer. Okay, thank you. Thank you for that, Spirit. It's a nice way of closing that part. I thank you, Spirit, for sharing some ways to prepare for this full moon. Remember about all these things. Can you accept that we're here? Can you allow us to support you in clearing the confusion? Right? They're like, can you open to potentially some surprises? These questions are because then as we progress and proceed in these days ahead, right, or these weeks ahead, that there will be more and more potential, more and more possibility to open to that energy. But if you feel that you're not opening energy at all and in a total shutdown, leading to potential paranoia, first do the cleansings that were suggested earlier with the body, the home. And if that does not support, then reach out for a T-chat, and we can always discuss your things specifically. Okay. Deep gratitude, deep gratitude. Much love to all the support around us, to what we are growing in our gardens, to what we are tending to within our bodies so that we can be good gardeners. To honor the deep work within the mind, to honor the deep work within the body that is occurring concurrently, to feed the heart, to care for the heart, our well-being, our equilibrium. As we continue with the steady efforts, the gentle efforts of tending what we have sown, as well as caring for the well-being of potentially what has been sown and the well-being of many lands, many waters, just onwards and onwards, just allowing what you are caring for within even the smallest pocket in this land or on this earth to trust that it can ripple forwards, ripple out to support many through the movements of the energies of the waters and the trees, the rhythms of the animals and the birds and the bees. Deep gratitude. I thank you. Woo! Woo! Much love. Enjoy the replay. And I will see you all closer to the new moon. Until then, stay tuned for further recordings or D-School. And there's lots of good little playlists and courses of actions to support you all. Take care. And ending is here.